Hola mi gente, welcome to Kiss My Crafts. I'm back in the recliner and today I have a very different whip and chat. I'm not going to be diamond painting. I'm going to be working on this granny blanket that I started some time ago. This is a one colorway, so it's one of those color changing yarns, and it was one of my favorites until the freaking company discontinued it. This is Bernat Mosaic, and it had some beautiful colors, and I had gotten some from a store in New York called Smiley's, and they sold a lot of discontinued yarns, but they had a multitude supply of this, and I didn't take advantage and buy as much as I could because there was one colorway that I really loved because they themselves in the store had a blanket draped over a chair made with this yarn, one of the colorways, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I didn't take advantage and buy because I just took for granted that it was always going to be there until I went there once and they had no more, and the company did discontinue it, so they weren't going to have any more. And then the store went out of business, and this store was fabulous, okay, because the stuff was so inexpensive. I think these were at like $2 a skein, but they sold them in packs of four. $2 in the store, they sold them like for six. This was given to me by a crochet sister of mine, Cheryl. She had bought it. She wasn't crazy about it, just had it, and when I came up in conversation, she's like, I got like six skeins of it, you want it? I'm like, sure. And she sent them to me. So as soon as I got them, I started this because I always wanted to make a large, because the blanket in the store was a large granny blanket, and I wanted to make one. So I'm going to make it with all six skeins. I don't know how big it's going to get. I'm still on the first skein. And I still got a lot left of it. So we'll see. And someone's got their eye on it. I got a friend, she eyes everything I make. So I'm using my Tulip Edamo eye hook. And the reason I chose this to work during my whip and chat is because this is mindless crochet. The granny cluster is just three double crochets into each space, okay? And so it's mindless crochet. When I want to crochet, but I want to watch TV at the same time, and it's something I should be paying attention to, then I'll work on something like this because I don't have to count. I don't have to do anything but do three double crochets into each space. If you want me to show you how to do this, I will. This is easy. There's plenty of videos, but I really do want to make more crochet videos because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that one that I made working on that shawl. I really enjoyed making it. I enjoyed the feedback. I have two young ladies that are working on shawls. Okay, well, one did two shawls, and I'll show you pictures of them right here. That was Tammy Burling. And Valerie Hollyfield also is working on a shawl. She was the first one to start it. And I'll show you hers right here. So thank you, ladies, for following the tutorial, giving me such awesome feedback, sharing your pictures with me. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy. And so they're the only two that is working on the shawl. So if they're the only two by the end of April 30th, then they're both gonna get something. Okay. I'm not gonna go up one up against the other. I need more people to do it as a real, like a giveaway. But out of appreciation, if they're the only two that end up making the shawl by April 30th, then they're both going to get something from me. And it's going to be fabulous. Ha ha, you're lost. Anyway, I felt like chatting, and this is the reason for my whip and chat. Yesterday, mm, excuse me, I was taking a sip of my coffee. Yesterday, April 12th, um, New York City was attacked again. Since the shooting happened, a bunch of people got hurt. Thank goodness no one got killed. They were at first reporting two people so critical that they were thinking these people were not gonna make it, but apparently so far yes, and no one has died from this. Last I heard, because I haven't watched the news since this morning. Um, and when something like that happens here, it affects all of us. It doesn't just affect the people that live in that area. It doesn't just affect the people that live in Brooklyn. This affects all of New York. Um, it hurts all of us. And in the state that I was in yesterday after hearing the news, it felt like 9/11 all over again. Those feelings came back. You feel violated. Mm. Even if you weren't at the place where it happened, you feel attacked. You feel scared. You feel angry. And I was feeling all that. Um, and this person is still out there. Thank goodness they have they know who did it, or they think they know who did it, and they have someone that they have that they have as a suspect. And I just hope they get him. Because he could do it again somewhere else. He's not even from here. So he has a YouTube channel, and I found it, right? And I watched the one video that they actually talked about in the news. This man don't live here. Why are you worried about New York? Why are you worried about what the mayor's doing or not doing? What is your concern with New York? Why do you come here to hurt people that got nothing to do with your issues, nothing to do with your complaints? Innocent fucking people. So I was angry yesterday. I was crying all morning. And felt emotional all day. It was so weird because I woke up in the middle of the night and I didn't want to go to work. I wasn't feeling good. I didn't know that I didn't feel like traveling. I didn't feel like being at a desk. I didn't feel like dealing with bullshit. I didn't feel like going to work. And so I let them know I'm not feeling good. I'm not coming in. And then I put the news on, and I was just starting to catch up with what was going on. Not still not understanding what the hell just happened when Valerie Hollyfield reached out to me and asked if I was okay. And I'm like, yeah, why? And then she's like, the Brooklyn shooting. And that's when I really paid attention. And I'm like, oh shit, yes. And then when I saw exactly what happened, because to be honest, a shooting in the news is not anything new. Okay, so when I saw a shooting in Brooklyn, it just didn't phase me because it's nothing new. Um, Especially lately. I don't know what's going on in this city, but there was a time where everything was pretty cool and calm and quiet and nice, and but then shit started happening again. And I do blame the government of the city. They're not doing whatever else people before them were doing to keep the crime down. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. I'm going off now. I don't want to be upset. The reason I started this whip and chat, I just felt like chatting, and I I wanted to thank all the people that reached out to me yesterday and today, and the outpouring of messages and emails and texts, calls. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. I was like, wow, it touched me. It really did. It touched me. so much. You guys are so caring, and the concern that you showed, it just, I was like, wow, these people really care about me. Um and it touched me, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you that reached out, you know, tags on Facebook, messages, texts, calls, emails. I mean, I got messages all over, and thank you so much. I so appreciate each and every one of you. um I stayed home again today. My anxiety level is so high. I couldn't sleep last night thinking about having to get on the train, knowing this person's out there, knowing that there's other nuts that copycat, you know. This is all knotted up inside there. I can't write to them because they discontinued this. So, I didn't go into work today either. I gotta force myself to do it tomorrow. I can't continue going out. I gotta force myself to do it tomorrow. Um, there are other ways to get to work besides the train, and I looked into them, but it's just not. It's not affordable. It's very expensive to take the express bus into Manhattan. It's double what I pay per ride on the train, and that's just not going to work out for me. I could do it once in a while, but I can't do it every day, every week. It's just not. It's just not going to work out financially. And forget about a car service, a Uber or a Lyft. Forget about that. That's like, I don't know how much they would charge. I don't really take any of those services. Car services, yeah, I have, but like Uber and Lyft, I don't really take those. I've been in one that someone called for me, but I didn't like that whole thing of just waiting for some stranger, and you have to find the car, and I don't know. I don't like the whole thing. Um. Anyway, that's part of what my whip and chat is about. I had so many things in my head, and now it's like, is this over? I should update you on life in general. Am I using the right hook size? I don't even know if I'm using the right hook that I was using before. And this is why I get mad at myself, because I have there's a website called Ravelry, and you can put all your projects up there, what yarn you use, what hook you used, and then keep track of your projects that way. And I didn't put this one up there yet. Anyway, so yeah, basically wanted to thank everybody. You guys are just fucking amazing. Um, so what else am I gonna update you on? Work is busy. We have a lot going on. I wasn't feeling stressed the past few weeks. My boss was out. They had a few deaths in her family the past 2 months. So she's been out, and I've been pretty much me and a colleague, coworker, handling and running the unit, attending the meetings, um, delegating work, training, because we have, a few new people. And it's a lot, and I come home exhausted, but I'm not stressed. And, I hate to say it, but it's been okay the past few weeks, and, now she's back. So I don't know how it's going to be. I just don't know. But yeah, I learned to try to do one thing at a time and not get myself stressed, and not um let my pressure rise. And when they ask too much of me, I stop them. I stop them, because what they want me to do, my superiors want me to do, is delegate everything that comes into my inbox. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. the staff has enough to do. Why should I? What's the point? A person sends an email, right? Somebody in the agency gets that email. They send it to someone else. That person sends it to someone else. It ends up being sent to my exec director. My exec director sends it to my director. My director sends it to me. I'm supposed to send it to somebody else. Does that even make sense? So, bottom line, they just want us to overload the staff. You make staff unhappy, and you can't you got to keep staff happy. Yes, they're there to do a job, but you also can't overextend them because they become unhappy and then they become unproductive. They start calling in sick, they start coming in late, they start slacking because they're not happy because you're overextending them. I know how much each staff can handle in a day. And I'm the type of person, I like to work. I don't want to just pass the buck. I like to work. So I roll my sleeves up right with the staff and do the same thing that they do when I have extra time to do it. Sometimes the emails get overwhelming and I've had it with the emails. So I'll go and grab a bunch of paperwork and work on it. And I'm at peace. I put my music on, and I enjoy it. I miss that part of the job when I was just regular, what they call regular staff, and not one of the supervisors. You know what I mean? And especially not the deputy director slash enrollment manager. It's like, yeah, they gave me, I got two titles. So that's how I am. So I've been not fighting, but I've been resisting the superiors, upper management dumping everything that they're trying to dump on us. I see other units, I see staff in other units doing nothing. Sometimes I see people, one or two, that are actually fucking asleep. And that really burns me because my unit is working from the time they get in to the time they go to lunch and come back from lunch to the time they go home. You know what I mean? And it's so unfair. So I do what I can. I make jokes. I keep them laughing. I buy them donuts. I thank them for the hard work. I constantly let them know that they're doing a good job. And when they're not, then I let them know too, because it's not always that easy when you're dealing with multiple staff that you supervise and you got to delegate work to. That's not an easy thing. I don't like the negative aspect of it when you got to let somebody know what they're doing wrong, when you got to write somebody up, when you got to threaten somebody's job. I don't like that part. I really don't. But I do it, and I've done it, and I've done it well, and I've got my point across. There was this young man that works that he got hired last year, and he started off well. He was a temp. He applied for a permanent position in our unit and ended up getting it. So he got what they call turned over from being a temp into he's a permanent worker. And it's like he started smelling himself and thinking that nothing can touch him now. You know what I mean? And catching attitudes with people, um, displaying just straight up disrespect towards directors from other units, exec directors, speaking to them in a tone that was not appropriate. And it was just escalating. Then it was trickling down to his coworkers. And I blame myself and my director for not nipping it in the bud sooner because there was issues between him and another staff, and the person complained, and we did not nip it in the bud because of all the things going on in my director's personal life, her being out a lot here and there. We put off having a meeting with this individual until she was back, and just things happened and she didn't come back. So we put it off. And so shit between the two escalated. And there was a little blowout and an argument, And that information got to the wrong ears. So I had to do my job. Normally, I would talk to both of them. I would have just talked to both of them, told them, cut the shit, and, talk to each one, whatever I needed to talk to them about, and and move on from there. But it got to the wrong ears. And so I had to do what I had to do as in my position, write both of them up, have meetings with both of them, have follow up write ups. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. I had to send them the code of conduct and tell them they better read it and blah, blah, blah. And all, I mean, yeah. But with this young man, I had a meeting because he had one foot out the door at this point with his attitude. I mean, it came to my attention that before I got into work, and I get into work about 10, before I get to work, he was taking his little, what he called his 9:30 walk, and would go out to get coffee, breakfast, whatever. You're not supposed to do that. That time is not an official break time. Workers are covered under workers' compensation if something happens to them on their job. But if they're outside in the street on a non-official break time, they're not covered. Okay. So he'd go out, not tell nobody, wouldn't tell a supervisor, hey, I'm going to go get coffee. We're not that strict. You let us know, okay, go ahead. We know. You don't tell us. We don't know where the fuck you are. We don't know what could happen. Anything could happen. Anyway, he would go out, and it came to my attention from one of the supervisors. He goes out every day before you get in. He doesn't turn on his computer until you get in. Oh, okay. You acting like you the best worker in the whole world, but you slacking before I get there. So that means when I'm not there, you think you're gonna do whatever the fuck you want. Excuse my language, but there's gonna be more. And so I sent him an email about it. Do you know this young man caught a freaking attitude and did not speak to me and was upset and felt some kind of way about my email? He texted the director talking about he feeling some kind of way and he wants to have a meeting. Excuse me, what? FOH, fuck out of here. I am your supervisor, and if I have to correct you on something, then I will. And I'm doing my job. Okay. I had my meeting with him and I told him, well, that wasn't the end of that. Between that email and his blowout with the other young lady, there were a lot more things going on. Mistakes happening with work, the attitude, the thinking that he was invincible in his job and nothing can happen to him. Mind you, he's on probation because they are on probation for 6 months. I was writing everything down. And every time I needed to, I would send him an email and a directive of whatever he was doing wrong. And when he had this blowout with this young lady, that was it. I had it. If it were up to me, he wouldn't be there. If it were up to me, but there's a protocol one has to follow when trying to get rid of somebody. Okay, it's not that easy with city government to get rid of anybody, unless they physically harm someone or are on drugs or do some kind of fraud. You can't just fire somebody on the spot. So I have to do what I have to do and write things up, keep documenting everything, and blah blah blah. So when I had my meeting with him, he was in total shock because he did not expect to hear what he heard. Because I got down to his level. Okay, he's sitting there making threats on his phone. What other staff felt like threats, talking about, snitches. Don't they know he's hood? Things that made the people around him very uncomfortable. And I want that place to be a safe place for people. I don't want people to feel uncomfortable in a place they got to stay for 8 hours. That's not fair. So, with all that stuff that he was doing, the attitude with me, the attitude with my director, the attitude with other people, giving people the murder, death, kill eyes when they ask him a work related question. Yeah, I gave it to him. I gave it to him. All right. My exec director was present, and he was like very impressed, in shock. Was like, I didn't expect that, because I let him know, you got one foot out the door. This is not the street. This is not the hood. This is a professional work environment. You are to act professionally. And I mean, I went blah 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 blah. The boy tried to overtalk me, and I was like, oh no, you are not gonna say a word yet. I will give you the opportunity to speak, but you're gonna hear me out. You're not gonna start cutting me my sentences in half, okay? Because that's what he does. When you give him a directive, and he goes, yeah, right, right, yeah, I know. If you know, then why the fuck you don't get it right the first time? You know. So since then, he's been on his best behavior. No one's hearing him saying anything into the phone. He hasn't been on his phone as much, because that was one of the agreements that I made him agree to, was that he was going to have limited use of his personal phone, because he's on Instagram all freaking day. So that's the part of the job that I do not like. I don't like that part. But I am proud of the way I handled it. I got my point across. He changed. Someone was like, "What did you do? Why is I mean, we walk by your department and it's like everybody's just working, everybody's quiet, everybody's doing their thing." I said, "I don't know. It's just that's how they are. They're good staff." And I guess I'm doing a good job supervising. You know what I mean? So, but that negative aspect, when you got to put somebody in their place, I don't like it. But yeah, but that's work. That's work. Dad, dad is dad. Oh my goodness. On some days he doesn't feel good, so all he does is whine. And then on the days that he feels good, he wants to escape and do things that he no longer has the strength to do. And it's hard to tell somebody, can't do this anymore. He cannot go down the stairs like he used to, He can't carry things like he used to. He needs a walker, he needs the cane in the house. He sometimes doesn't use it. He's prone to falling. He just doesn't get it. But then today he's cooking. Today he's making lentil soup. He got a burst of energy. This morning he woke up, oh, I had a horrible night. I don't feel good. What are you feeling? I don't know. And it's so frustrating, because is it a pain? Do you feel tired? I don't know. Then it came out. My head hurts, my eyes hurt, my nose hurts. Okay, let's give you some Tylenol, because that's the strongest pain reliever that he could take. He can't take anything else. He's like, I'm not in pain. You just finished saying your eyes hurt, your head hurts, this and that hurts, and now you're saying you're not in pain. It's very frustrating. Like, one has to have patience. Because imagine being him and other people getting frustrated with you and making you feel like you're a burden. I don't want him make him feel that way. And to be honest, mi gente, he is in the state that he is, but before he got in that state, I didn't like my father very much. No. I could write a book on the shit that my father has done to this family. Yeah, I could write a series of books of what he's done to this family. And even after my mom passed away, he continued with bullshit. And then that's when I 150% understood my mom, when I had to deal with him. Now, mind you, he's my father, not my husband, so it's different. But the anger, the frustration, the things you feel at his actions, I can understand. I totally understood her. I always looked at her as like, she's always fighting. She's always fighting, but she had her reasons. My father wasn't easy. He wasn't an easy man. He did a lot of shit, and not just. He wasn't just a cheater, because he cheated. He was a cheater, a player. I didn't recognize that until I was 18, and my mother found a paternity paper filled out by him for some chick that he got pregnant somewhere. Um, you know, yeah, that kind of shit. And I don't understand why my mother never left him. I think it was because my mom had no skills. My mom's skills were antiquated. Okay, my mom was young and living in Puerto Rico before she got married. She embroidered and she made lace and she made I think sold the lace and the embroidery onto tops that were sold, in stores. So she worked, that's what she worked at. Eventually, that skill was replaced by machines, right? So when she came to the States and she came to New York, she worked in factories. She knew factory work. And then, she met my dad. By that time, she was divorced and she had my sister. She met my dad. They hooked up, got married, had kids. She stopped working after I was born because they always had issues with babysitters. So my dad was like, you know what, stay home, raise the kids, I'll work and take care of the family. And that's how it was. And for years and years and years. And so when it got to a point where my mother, you can tell my mother was just bitter and angry and it wasn't a happy marriage anymore, or was it ever? I don't know. Because all I remember is them fighting. Um, I think she felt stuck. She had no skills and she wasn't, I guess, a go-getter. My mother was a go-getter when it came to her family and providing what we needed, because my father used to really fuck up all the time. Talking about he got mugged. My father could be in the Book of World Records the amount of times he came home talking about he got mugged on payday. Yeah, okay. He also was a gambler. I mean, yeah, he used to play horses that got him into trouble. I mean, this is all stuff that happened as we were growing up. My understanding of everything wasn't that good because I was a kid, but I knew it wasn't right. I knew there was something wrong. I just didn't know the severity of the things that he did that caused our family, the troubles that we had to grow up with. Um, yeah, and I mean, I don't want to sit here and badmouth the old man. He is my father. Um, the love is, he's my father. That's the love. He's my father. I'm his daughter. Like, not so much. Right now, I'm patient. I take care of him when he needs help and he needs to eat and his meds and all that stuff. But I'm still resentful because of all the shit that he put my mom through and us through. My brothers, you know, one of my brothers, the older of the three between my parents, because my father also has a son before he met my mom, and my mom was married once before and had a daughter, my sister. But between the three of us, my older brother, he probably saw a little more because he worked with my dad. But I experienced the stuff that my dad did after my mom passed away. I got to a point where I just was packing stuff up because I was going to leave and just leave him here. And it got to a point where I was like, if he ends up in a shelter, then he ends up in a shelter, because my brothers ain't gonna do nothing for him. Neither one of them is gonna do nothing for him. The one that lives downstairs would act like he's doing something, but he don't really do nothing for him. Everything is me. Um, and so that part of that is the part of the resentment is that. But when after my mom passed away, my father, he got hit by a car. He was somewhere he wasn't shouldn't have been, and got hit by a car. And uh, I forgot what the bone's name was, but he broke a bone in his leg, and he needed surgery. And it was the whole ordeal lasted almost 4 months. Between getting hit, going to the hospital, getting transferred to a rehab, then getting surgery, blah blah blah, all this and that. It was almost a 4 month ordeal. I had to go, I visited him every day after work, every day on the weekend. I was the only one. The others visited now and then. Um, Excuse was, oh, I couldn't find parking. Okay, whatever. Park somewhere where you can and take a bus, take the train, whatever. Park near our house and take the train. If you know there's no parking and it's hard to find parking in that area, park the fucking car near the house and take the freaking train and walk the amount of blocks that I walked every freaking day. Okay, so fast forward to when my father got better and he was getting therapy. He eventually came home and, got me and my brother. My brother lived down, did take him a lot because he was the one that's here. I lived in my apartment. But I would come every morning to give him his medicine and make him breakfast. He refused a visiting nurse. He refused a home attendant at that time. And I was very angry at that because I wasn't present when he had that interview. I was very angry because he didn't have to refuse it because he was home alone and he wasn't allowed to walk yet after his surgery. He couldn't walk. He wasn't allowed to put pressure on the leg that they did the surgery on. But after all that happened, then he had a lawsuit. Lawyer was like, we could settle for this amount or we can go and, go to court or whatever. He didn't want to wait. He wanted his money. So he got his money. Mi gente, I'm not going to say the specifics, but let me tell you something. Man went buck wild. He went buck wild, spending that money on some family I don't know. Some lady that he used to cheat on with my mother. He used to cheat on my mother with her, from what I found out through her niece, because I did my investigation and found all kinds of phone numbers. I found social security. I found all kinds of information on this family that when I finally contacted this chick, because I thought she was the one that, the niece, meaning the niece, I thought she was the one messing around with my dad. It was somebody that he had worked with years and years before. I thought it was her, and I called her, and I finally got the story straight. He was spending his money on this drunk lady, and on the niece's family. Like she said, oh, your father comes to my house every day looking like Santa Claus because he'd bring toys. He even bought bunk beds for the kids. So needless to say, my father was pulling out anywhere between $800 and $1,000 from the bank every day and spending it on these people. So I got mad, but I couldn't control him because he was still in his right state of mind. He still wasn't diagnosed with anything. I suggested that we set up the account in his and my name, and neither one of us could take money out unless the other one signs. He didn't want to do that. He's like, no, 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 no. So one day, after hearing all this shit about my dad and all this shit that he did in the past, because this girl knew a lot about my dad, and I found out so many things, so many bad things that he did, that I was angry. So I went home, and one day from work, just thinking about it, angry. I entered angry. My mother's ashes were in this house, and my dad and I were fighting every day. There was no peace. So I told him, you're going to take some of that money and you're going to put mommy in the cemetery because there's no peace in this house. And I want her at peace. So he paid for that. And then, he wears special shoes because he has a club foot. He bought himself a pair of shoes. They cost like $500 to get made. He also went to Puerto Rico to visit family, and he went to Las Vegas to visit his brother. That money spending, I didn't care. That was fine. But spending it on trash, this drunk lady that was trying to move into my house, no. So that was one of many, many issues my father caused me after my mom passed away. The other issue was this, there's a shelter around the corner, and when they first opened, it was like a woman and children family shelter. So there was this chick there with her daughter, and my father friended, and my brother friended, and they brought her, one of them invited her here, and then I couldn't get rid of her. I couldn't freaking get rid of her. She was here in my house every day. I come home from work. This chick with her daughter were in my house, and she told us so many lies. Because after a while, I was like, this chick is bullshitting us. Okay, she was from Ecuador, and she was here supposedly on political asylum because her whole family was wiped out in Ecuador. Okay. All these plans, all these things. My brother's like, yeah, I saw the paperwork. What paperwork? Because I wasn't believing it. I was like a little leery. She's a stranger. I don't know you. You got my brother and my father all hypnotized and shit. This kid's in my house being disrespectful. Her daughter, I tried to help her out. I got information for her on stuff that she can do to give herself a better life here. She didn't want to do nothing. What she was looking for was a man to take care of her. That's what she was looking for. And it didn't work out with my brother because my brother started kind of dating her. But when he saw how disrespectful the daughter was, he saw the issues that were going to happen and he stopped it and he broke it off with her. But she still continued to come into my house every day. My father was cooking for her and her daughter every day. And when I'd come home from work, whatever the leftovers were dumped. Okay, so I had no dinner when I got home. I had to make my own dinner. So I started getting angry. I didn't want this chick in my house hanging out till 9 o'clock every day because she had to be back at the shelter at 9 o'clock. And don't think I'm heartless. This is I saw what this chick was doing. Okay. My father reneged on his part of the rent like 3 different months. My father gets help from the government. He gets SNAP. The SNAP, he was claiming, oh, they didn't give it to me this month because he was spending his money on this chick. Okay. And not coming through with his responsibilities in the house. And it was upsetting me. I stopped buying groceries. I stopped doing everything that I cut off the cable. Okay. Because this lady was using my internet, my cable. She made my father wouldn't watch his baseball games because her daughter wanted to watch some bullshit on TV. I was like, oh, hell no, this bitch is taking over my house and I can't do anything because my father wanted her here. I went to Florida for vacation. Okay. This is almost a year now. Now my father bought a cell phone. Let's back up a little bit. My father bought a cell phone. And it was obviously a cell phone for a young girl. He's saying it was for somebody's nephew. What? Okay. Come to find out, he opened an account, a cell phone account for this lady's kid. This kid had a better phone than I did. She had a better phone service than I did. Okay. And this kid was what? 7, 8 years old? I tried with her. I showed her diamond painting. I gave her markers and water brush markers and coloring books and pads. I gave her a lot and tried to get her into stuff, but she was the nastiest little child. I don't know what she went through wherever, but she was just so disrespectful. And disrespectful to her mother. Oh my God. I had to tell her a couple of times, hey, you don't speak to your mother like that. She gave me the dirtiest look, like, I don't give a fuck what you say. Anyway, I went to Florida. I came back and this chick had moved into my house. She moved into my house, mi gente. She had her suitcases. She left the shelter. Before that, she left the shelter that was around the corner from me. They moved her for whatever reason and she didn't like where she was at. And she tried to stay in my house. And I was like, no, I don't want that type of problem in my house. This lady claimed that some big Latino gang was after her because she had information on them and that she had some type of protection from the government, that they killed her 13-year-old son, and she wanted to show me a picture of her son dead, dragged from a body of water. I was like, I don't want to see that. When she was telling me about her son, there was no emotion. There was no emotion. And she was ready to show me a picture of a dead 13-year-old swollen from the water. I do that. I don't want to see that. Why would she carry that around with her? I don't understand. So I just started saying this chick is lying. She's lying because all the services that she was supposed to receive were taking too long. I work for city government, mi gente. I know how things go. I know things don't take that long. They cannot tell you, a social worker cannot tell you in January, oh, you're going to get this in June. No, they're going to apply for it right there and then. It might take a couple of weeks, but it's not like that. It's not like that. So she thought she was talking to an idiot. And I let her know, I work for such and such agency. And yeah, this is how it goes. That's how it goes. I started letting her know you ain't pulling the wool over my eyes. You might have pulled the wool over my brother and my father's eyes, but you ain't pulling the wool over my eyes. So he tried to move this chick in my house, and I was not having it. No, she gotta go. She gotta go. She gotta go. She gotta go. I went through trouble getting her out. I could have gone to jail because I was ready to beat the shit out of her. Seriously, I even told her in her face, I am going to fuck you up if you don't get out of my house. You got to get out. But my father was defending her. Okay. It was an ordeal. I finally got her out. And then she tried to visit. And I caught her trying to visit. That was a fight in the street. I'm not a scene maker. But this chick, I was like, the disrespect. She had no dignity. The disrespect that she showed me, told me she didn't care. All the things that I said to that woman, if it were me, I wouldn't want to be here. I'd be scared. I'd be scared because of all the things that I told this woman I was gonna do. Uh-oh, what did I do here? Uh-oh, I made a mistake. I started on the wrong side. Oh, I'm working on the wrong side. Okay, I'm gonna frog this. I know y'all want to hear what happened, right? I don't know why I'm telling y'all this. Um, some whipping chat, and it's long too. I'm gonna turn it back around because I'm working on the wrong side. I gotta work on this side. Okay, I went the wrong way. Okay, I wasn't working on the wrong side. When I started the new row, I went the wrong way because I'm talking. Well, anyway, this chick, I finally got her out of my house. And this is some of the stuff that some of the stuff. This is a handful. There's a whole lot more that this man has done. So that's why sometimes I get frustrated because now I'm the one that has to take care of him. What do you do? Nursing homes in New York City, if you can't afford a private one, they ain't no good. I would feel guilty as fuck leaving somebody in a public nursing home. And my father don't have much. My father did so much shit in his life. He did not prepare for his old age. And I think part of my obsession with my pension and all the stuff that I'm going to get when I retire is that I learned from that. I learned from that. My father had to work till well in his 70s. I don't want to work till I want to retire now so I can enjoy the fruits of my labor, and the next chapter of my life. I don't want to be working, you know. But yeah, no, that's a little bit of my personal life that y'all are hearing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's out there. I don't care. It's stories that I tell anybody. People at work, when I tell them stories about dad, I tell them in a comical way. And they laugh. They love my father. They every day I get asked, how's Papa Delgado? And on the positive side of things, on the positive side of things about my dad, my father was funny as hell, and I think that's where I got my humor from because he made everybody laugh. He can get offensive, but he makes everybody laugh, and he's still a jokester. When he's feeling okay, he got some energy, he's a jokester. And now, with the way his mind is, he's living He's remembering a lot of stuff from his past when he was a kid. He talks about his mom. He talks about what he can remember about his dad, because his dad died when he was um, a young boy. So I never got to meet that grandfather. So he's living in a world where he's remembering his past and forgetting what he ate half hour ago. And it's sad to see somebody deteriorate that way. It really is. So the resentment is there, but the compassion is there too, and the empathy. I have to be empathetic, you know. Even, it could be anybody, It could happen to me. Who's gonna take care of me if I get like that? That shit's hereditary. Who knows? Anybody out there want to take care of me? Because my son ain't gonna take care of me. That's another thing that's going on in my life with my son. My son, my son suffers. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of this. I've been talking too much. My son suffers from mental illness. And he was in therapy, he was on meds, and he was doing okay. He had gotten into trouble, and that's what woke him up, and finally realized he needed help. And he was in therapy, and he was taking meds, and then I don't know what happened. COVID happened, and he couldn't work because he works in hospitality. He's a bartender, and he couldn't work. He stopped going to therapy. He stopped taking meds, and he went back to being angry and me being the worst person in the world in his life. Why? I don't know. I'm going to attribute it to the mental illness. So, needless to say, we right now do not speak because he still can't find work. And I think it's because of the mental illness. He goes on plenty of interviews, but nobody calls him back. And he has experience. My son's been working since he was 15, but nobody calls him back. And I want to help him, but I got to go through the girlfriend. And it's frustrating because I want to talk to him and he doesn't want to. He's got me blocked. But I don't push it because I don't want him to have another episode like he did in 2019 that got him in trouble. I don't. What the hell? Am I on the right side? Yeah, these things came through on the wrong side. That's what that is. Okay. I'm so freaking confused. No, this is the right side. I mean, you gotta laugh. This is why I laugh. There's so much shit that happens in my life and around me. I have to laugh. I have to make jokes. I have to look at the brighter side. I don't know, but I don't know what you would call it. But if I didn't laugh, I would be the most miserable person in the whole world because I'll be wallowing in my problems. Um, you know, thinking about the issues all the time, and I would be a drag. I would definitely be a drag. But yeah, you gotta laugh. So hopefully, I pray that my son gets help and we can have a relationship again. You know, I miss him. I miss him very much. I think about him every day. It's so hard to see moms and their sons because it just reminds me of a better time, you know? And I think my family thinks I don't care, but I do. I just can't do anything right now. They don't know how much I help them financially because he's not working, even though he doesn't talk to me. I'm not gonna let them go hungry, you know? I'm not. I'm not gonna let them go hungry. I'm gonna help. I don't care what attitude he got with me. People be like, oh, don't help him. I can't do that. I can't do that. That's my son. That's my only child. I'm not going to turn my back on him no matter what he says about me, no matter how he feels about me, no matter what he wishes happens to me. He's still my son. Hold on, mi gente. I'm back. Okay, enough of that bullshit. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about different things. I have a couple events coming up. Okay, so you already know July is Christmas in July with me and Mindy, right? But I also have an event, and I need to touch bases with Nurse Rachel because her and I want to have an event in May, and that's coming up soon. So we have to get together, girlfriend. I'll text you later. She's a nurse. I nurses have crazy schedules, and she has a family. I don't want to be interrupting her, and she's in the middle of doing nurse stuff. And mommy stuff and wifey stuff. That's got to be a busy woman, with kids, a career, a husband, a home, and a YouTube channel. She busy. She crazy busy. So I'll text her later. But we have an event coming up. We want to do it, and I think we said we're gonna do it in May. And it's has to do with your spirit animal. So I'm going to be working on a what's the name of that freaking artist? The Milan people. The girl with the wolf. I think it's called. Oh my goodness. I'll put it up right here. I'm going to do that. I'm not sure what she's going to do, but Nurse Rachel, I'm going to text you later. I don't know when this video is going to come up, but I'm going to text you on April 13th. Then I also have an event planned with Christopher, my soul twin brother. Him and I, we're going to do rude and sexy. I don't know what we're calling it yet, but it's pretty unconventional diamond paintings. Okay, but I don't. That's not the name. We haven't come up with a name or a hashtag or anything like that. But you gotta have an unconventional diamond painting, whether it be offensive, rude, unconventional. Okay, that's gonna be a freaking riot. So looking forward to all that. I have a cruise planned in June. I'm a little scared because I don't want to be stuck on a cruise ship and someone gets positive for COVID and then they quarantine us for the rest of the cruise. So I'm leery about that, but also looking forward to getting away. I wanted to go to Florida, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it this June. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. I was looking and flights are expensive. Flights have gotten so freaking expensive. Even I'm already looking into December and it's like, holy shit. So I don't know. He's gonna have to come here once in a freaking while. I mean, he said he was gonna come, um, because he's got stuff in storage here in a friend's storage and he needs to get them out. So he's planning on coming, but I don't know when that's happening. But yeah, I can't be here for the holidays. I have to be there. I don't I don't want to be in New York during Christmas. I have to be there. I will be so depressed and sad if I have to spend Christmas in New York. Okay? Um there's also the thing that I want to do is go to Puerto Rico. I haven't been to Puerto Rico in decades, okay? And I need to go. A couple of my aunts passed away, last year. Well, was one was here, one was in New York, and one was the year before. But my family, my aunts and my uncles, they're getting older. I haven't seen them in a long time. My sister, my brother live there. I have nieces and nephews and grandnieces and nephews that I need to meet, and I just, you know, I don't know when I'm gonna do that. I was thinking of not like reneging on the cruise and not going and then go to Puerto Rico, but my nieces will be upset with me. That's like our thing. We've had this family vacation every year since 2014, and it's just become a tradition. And that's why I can't go to the diamond painting retreat in Michigan, because it coincides with my cruise. Um and if it was on another weekend in June, I still probably wouldn't have been able to make it, because I can't do two vacations in 1 month, cost wise and time wise, because of the job. But yeah, one day I'll get to that retreat. You know, it's just that June is a bad month. One, it's Mia's birthday. Two, it's my family vacation tradition. So and I'm gonna be jealous at all of you get together, and some of you for the first time, and it's all these people I dying to meet in person. We're all friends, we're all cool with each other, and I don't know you in person, and y'all meeting each other, and I feel so freaking left out. But it's not your fault; it's mine. I mean, it's really no one's fault. It's just that's how things are. But I'll be watching, because I do usually get the internet package when I go on a cruise, because I can't be totally out of touch. The first cruise I did, I didn't get the internet package, and it was really hard not to be able to be in touch with the people, you know, um checking on people, or even browsing Facebook. I was missing at the time, because at that time I was a Facebook addict. Um I'm still thinking this is wrong. I'm just gonna keep on this way. Que se joda. Anyway, mi gente, I think I'm gonna stop for now. Hey, if you want, this crochet stuff is really pulling me back in. I missed it. This is my number one craft. I self-taught myself. I think it was 2011 or 2012. I have an accumulation of yarn and hooks and all kinds of stuff for crochet, and I love it. And I'm enjoying doing this. I'm in my favorite chair doing my one of my favorite things, and I feel comfortable, and I feel relaxed, and I feel calm, and I feel safe. Okay, my recliner is my safe place. It's more safer than my bed. I fell off my bed. I don't fall off my recliner. Yeah, man, that was too close to the edge. I had my back to the edge. I was on my side, and I was awake. I was watching TV or doing something, whatever. And I decided to turn around, and I fell right on my back. Now, my bed, there's like a small space, and then there's a dresser. I could not get up. I had to scoop myself out of the space, out into the room, further into the room, so I could get up. Oh my God. Not only was I laughing hysterically, which made me weaker, but I felt like such an old lady. One of those, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Because I literally lay there for a good 10 minutes just cracking up, and I couldn't call anybody because my phone was far away. I wasn't gonna ask my dad for help because he couldn't help me. But yeah, I don't fall off my recliner, but my recliner is my safe place, and doing a craft like this, it calms me, and it helps with the anxiety, because my anxiety level is so high these days. And then now with this shit going on with this Shooter, yeah. Getting on the train is going to freak me out. My heart is going to be racing. I'm going to probably have a panic attack. It's a possibility. And, I'm not looking forward to it. But anyway, mi gente, keep me in your prayers. Keep New York in your prayers. And let's hope they catch this motherfucker. And, I found his YouTube channel. He needs help. He needs help. He's angry. He's bitter. I don't know what happened in his life to make him that way, but he's angry. He's an angry person, and he needs to be taken off the streets. All right, mi gente. Anyway, thank you. If you reached to this point, you certainly do rock. And I love you for it. And you know what to do. Until my next video, take care of yourselves, be safe, and besos. Mwah.